It's another beautiful day to be a raider, draped in the silver and black. I represent the shield, I represent the swords. It's that time of night again, Raider Nation, and we come back. Why? Because it's time. It's time to bring them.
What's up, Raider Nation? I am the Commish, coming to you live from Hardcore Challenge Live Studios. Where is that, might you ask? Well, let me give you some simple directions. It's just down the street. Just go past that house with the boarded up windows. Talk to my man Joe. He's always on the corner. He's a man of commerce. Hook him up and he will point you in the right direction. Just down the street, take a right. And then you're going to take an immediate left. As you find yourself strolling down the street, you're going to pass a deep, dark alley to your right. Now, as you pass that alley, you're going to be engulfed by a cool, cool breeze that chills you to your skeletal core. Is it the autumn wind? You're goddamn right. Should you venture down that deep, dark alley? Well, of course you should, because what you're going to find at the end is a little place that we like to call deep behind the enemy line. This is Raider ReACTION. This is Thursday night, and that means it's Raider Nation Ricochet, and my favorite salty bastard is in the house. Yarg!
Hopefully I won't be crying like I was for the last hour and 40. No, there was a reason.
Oh, God, that's
No, not even about the game.
All right.
Because I had my fan on for the hour, about almost halfway through my show that preceded it. By the way, if you're not tuned in to Ask Captain Jack on Thursdays, it's before I come in for Raider Nation Ricochet, and also on Sundays, I'm going to do a 3-hour show
A 3-hour show.
A 3-hour show. If there's enough people calling in. If you don't call in, I'm not going to be there. But figure a 3-hour show on Sundays.
Well, let's hope everybody
should be calling.
We got
in.
some good mojo going. That
Damn
we just
right.
got done whooping up on the donkeys, and
Well, hopefully so.
we said we were into that. We'll get into that later because
We will.
we got a whole hour. So
And I'm going to be here the whole hour. I'm not
we
going to do anything after this.
We can't spoon feed you all of it right now.
No.
So we can keep coming. All right.
Now, I one thing real quick, Commish,
Go.
because it's been a while since you've seen us in together. Last Thursday on opening night, technical difficulties amongst whatever. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Okay,
Shit, I even forgot about that.
Well, I no, I don't because I like being here.
Yeah, but he
live
was
with you.
I would have rather been where you were at anyway. You were out at the game, although it didn't turn out to be quite the outcome you wanted for.
Well,
for
but
a
you know,
trip,
but that was two things. The Thursday night we couldn't get the split screen on.
Yeah.
But what upset me, and I want to make sure that all of you guys know, guys and gals, mates and wenches, everybody in Raider Nation, when I was out at the game on Sunday, came out to the parking lot, and Raider Reaction was supposed to be showing some good video out there. Here's the thing, though. When the captain is dressed as I am, and I'm schlepping from site to site and thing to thing and picture to picture and all this other stuff, I had a workout that would have resembled, if my phone was on, and I had my phone with me, it would have looked like, what's that movie where people are like moving too fast and it's like a movie of like people like it's lost in the woods.
Oh,
and,
the Blair Witch Project?
Right. It would have looked like the Blair Witch Project or the other one that was the other bad movie remake after that for the same concept of a shaky phone.
We're gonna have to get him set next time. I'm gonna have to fix him with the
It's
one of them GoPros.
No, it's bad. It's bad video. There's no reason to see me on bad video when we want to bring you quality show. I want to bring you quality stuff. Okay, that's why it wasn't on. You didn't miss anything other than me taking pictures with a bunch of hotties. So if you want to see that, go to my page and you can see that as well, which is really nice.
Hotties are always nice.
It's why I dress. It's why I dress. Seeing you, Raider Nation, the fans of the Silver and Black, mates and wenches, everybody, it's why I'm here.
So here's the thing, Raymond. The captain and I sat here, and the second we saw the schedule, we sat here and gave our raw 100% first impression of what we thought the schedule was going to be.
And I was right.
He picked an L in week one.
I picked an
He
L.
did pick an L in week one. And I was on the record saying I thought it was going to be a very difficult game. I thought we could pull it out, but I did think I was concerned about the Rams in week one.
He was.
I was concerned about the Rams in week one. I was concerned the whole week coming up to it. They were a talented team, and the fact they added Aaron Donald and got him in camp just enough time to get him ready to go was kind of like the cherry on top of my concerns.
And nobody amongst us could have envisioned, and I'm not going to beat the dead horse. There is a guy in Chicago who had a hell of a game on Sunday, but none of us could have envisioned him not being here. That having been said, screw it. Get over it.
Yeah, we buried that just like we buried week one. That shit's dead. On Tuesday, we come in, we work on it, touch on it on Monday. We have the Raider Nation report on Tuesday, and we bury that sumbitch, and we're on to the next week. That's just how we got to do it every week, because it's donkey week. You can't dwell on the last one. You gotta bury it and move on. You gotta focus on the next one. Get ready. You gotta brush it off and keep moving on. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what the team has to do, and then that's how we do it pretty much every week. Because you were with us yesterday. Prime and I did our picks. I'm down 2 games from week one, Captain, to Prime already. He's 9-7. I'm 7-9. So,
which might be our record at the end of the year, but we'll see. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not ready. Listen, it was a shit storm in week one. I'm not gonna lie. The first half, I feel we were lucky to be winning at half. That it really could have really
but we
could have
been up by 7 instead of 3.
We could have been up by 7, but we also could have been down by 7 as well. It was just kind of a weird half.
It was, but it was
a weird half.
But they played well the first
did.
half.
I was promising my halftime show. I was
Yeah.
positive, man. I thought we looked okay. Wasn't stellar, but we were winning, and the defense had made some plays.
If you looked at the stats, and I don't have the stats in front of me, I'm looking up at the big scoreboard over at Oko, and all of the stats, the Raiders are up immensely in stats. And again, what's the old Raheem Morris, and I can't stand his fucking name, but he's like, stats are for losers. I got that. The stats at the end, at the halftime, the Raiders were almost double in time of possession, almost double in yardage. They were just kicking their ass, and the only reason why the Rams were in the game was because of the 2 deep pass interference penalties, which gave them good field position that they scored on. Because the Raiders were winning in the first half. It should have been more. And then Carr throws the interception.
Yes, as you mentioned, Manuel, Marshawn was not really available in the second half. He had shoulder issue.
And he was
out.
sick.
He was a full participant in practice today, however, so that's positive news. It's looking good for him to be a full go this weekend. I need him. He's my number 1 running back in fantasy football as well. He's the number 1 running back for my pride and joy and one of the loves of my life. So I need him to freaking get the hell out there, put some damn points on the board this weekend for the Raiders and for the Silver and Black Attack too. Cause
definitely so.
I really need the Silver and Black Attack to have a week 2
Silver and Black, I guess, is your team.
That's my team, and we lost in week 1 as well because Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and Marshawn Lynch are on my team. So as you can imagine, my team didn't fare well either, since those are my top 3 guys.
You gagged it.
Yeah, I was doing well too. The rest of my team did well. Then those guys came out in the last of Monday Night Football and absolutely murdered my fantasy team.
When you went into the last game, and again, I apologize, I still have a bunch of friggin' pollen and dust in my eyes, which is making me cry like a baby, and it'll be like this. When you were going into the game, how many points were you up or down going into that last game?
Oh, I was done probably anyway. The guy that, interestingly enough, the guy that I played had the 2 top wide receivers for the week. He had Deshaun Jackson and he had Michael Thomas, who are the 2 wide receivers in the shootout for the week. And both of them, one scored 35 points and one scored 39 in fantasy.
Okay,
in
well
my
then
league.
I don't feel quite so
No,
bad.
I was in deep shit anyway, but I was down 80 points coming into the last game. And I had 4 guys to play. I had my cornerback, who was Darius Slay. I had Amari Cooper, my number 1 wide receiver. I had Marshawn Lynch, my number 1 running back, and I had my quarterback. So if each one of those guys would have got 20, or Carr has a 30-point game, it was possible that I could have won with 4 guys playing. Darius Slay goes out with a fucking concussion right out of the gate in the first Monday night game. So I'm like, already like, shit, I'm in trouble. And then Amari Cooper never got off the bus.
No, he got 1 pass for 9 yards.
Oh, gee, it was targeted like 3 or 4 times. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Richard was targeted 11 times.
Yeah, with 9 catches.
With 9 catches, but don't you have to target your wide receiver at some point?
Though, and it was making me sick watching this. Is like, and I said this a little while ago as well. The Raiders were working with maybe 1/4 of the field. It was from the lines to the outside. The entire. I'm sorry?
If you need that.
Oh, okay. Appreciate that. The lines, yeah, and if I have bad breath, I'm sorry. Okay. I try not to do that. But they're working with only 1/4 of the field from the line, what they call the hash marks, thank you. The hash marks to the outside. They're missing the middle of the field. A team needs to use every bit of the friggin' field, and the Raiders were doing dump. They were shitting their pants, literally. Dump. And that's all that they were doing on Monday, and it sucked.
It really did, man. I was having flashbacks to some of the garbage play calling from last season. It was really disheartening to see.
Bring up Todd Downing.
It was really disheartening to see. And the thing that I didn't like, it was really bothered me, was Gruden's supposed to be known for his dynamic offense, and we come out, they're sputtering. You got dumb penalties, false starts. They just didn't look. They didn't look sharp.
No.
You know, they didn't look well. They didn't look well coached.
And this is the thing that I was saying as well in the stands.
Could just
is
be
that
rust.
They did not play enough in the preseason.
No,
I
agree.
Okay, the Rams game, you throw that was a major kink in the fact that you can't go in the Rams game, which should have been the game where they're playing at least up into the half. That was game 2, I believe, in the preseason, which throws a bad kink in your schedule, okay? But I tell you what, they needed more time because they looked like ass. They did not get the execution done. They had a lot of rust to shake off. And then the other thing, which I've also said as well, Kelechi Osemele was what I can make a bad joke and I won't be about being pushed back or pushed in. Okay, I tell you, I'm not going there. The point is though, is Osemele was getting manhandled by whoever he was on, either Brockers or Sue or Donald. They were kicking his ass all night, holding after holding call, false starts on the whole line. They looked like crap for the most part. And the fact that they were winning by 3 made me feel like, hey, if they can win by 3, despite all of this stuff, there's a good chance that maybe they pull the upset. I was way wrong. But that's the way that is. Cap got his tongue.
I guess. Sorry, I was experiencing some minor technical difficulties there. Now, which is odd.
Oh, I did too. My phone was out the first portion for about 15 minutes until I got somebody to give me a phone call because, hey, that's just the way it was. But hey, we worked through it, and we had calls, and people were calling in, and people were commenting, and we're here. We're going to read your comments. At least he is, because he can see them.
I lost all of my screens.
Oh, okay.
How's that possible?
Everything popped up.
Everything just froze, music and everything.
You know, it's like we can do the you guys know the old Warner Brothers thing with the dancing frog. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. I can sing, but you don't want me to do it. There you go. See, I scared it. I scared it.
It's coming around.
I scared it.
It's coming around.
Okay. You don't want me doing the dancing frog, man. That's a great cartoon.
So that's enough with week 1. I mean, we've touched on it all week. I'm sure you've talked about it. It is what it is, and we're done. Now, moving into week 2, I would like to let's start with what's been the biggest news probably over the last day, which has been the defensive line. Obviously, we got no push out of the defensive line in the game, and not only that. We lost 2 guys. We lost a rookie, PJ Hall, who's in a boot and was non-participant in practice today, and Justin Ellis is on IR. So that was a big hit.
The Raiders say that the Ellis is going to be back at his first available convenience. But remember, these are the same Raiders doctors that say game by game for a bunch of other people turns into 10 weeks, 12 weeks. I'm not saying anything bad about the organization, but I'm just saying take it with a grain of salt that Ellis will be back and available. I don't know the extent of his injury, but when you got P.J. Hall in a walking boot, that's not good. Then you immediately put Ellis on the IR, and then you get 2 guys off of the street. Now, remember, Hankins, the gentleman that used to play for the Giants for several years, that wanted a big payday that we got out of the Colts, who got rid of him in March, is a very good defensive player, but he was not playing for anybody, so he's coming in off the couch into Raiderland. And then McDonald is the other defender that they got, which is taking the place for Shalik Calhoun, which was cut. So, and you guys do not want to see the blackness that's in front of us at this point.
That means it's alive. It's alive. So they can see the screen flashing down my face as everything's dying, coming back to life.
We got it back. But anyway, that is going to be a heavy hit because not only do you lose Hall, you lose Ellis, who is the only real defensive tackle that they had nose tackle type on the team, straight up. But you got those guys coming in, and then you have to rely upon Hurst. You're going to rely on Fadal Brown, who's going to have to play inside. If you don't want a lot of Frosty Rucker coming in playing defensive tackle because he's your end. So you are down and hurting on the defensive line.
Speak for yourself. I'd like a Frosty Rucker.
I know that girl.
I wanted him to make this roster so bad just so I could say Frosty Rucker all season long.
Well, it's better than saying a Rosty. Anyway, I've kept it
I
clean
like
for
the
the most
Frosty.
part.
Those are good. Frosties are good. They're delicious. That sounds yummy right now.
Yeah.
I could go for a Frosty.
Just no to Yoo-hoos. Yoo-hoos suck. Frosties are
Yeah,
good.
What the fuck's up with Yoo-hoos? Those. Everybody
Horrible.
says those are delicious. I never got that either.
Chocolate water. Never mind.
So, to fill the gaps and the basically we had no push in week 1. We lose 2 of the guys who were supposed to help provide the push. Obviously, now we got to go find guys to fill the void. So we go out and we get Jonathan Hankins, who I think Jonathan Hankins could be a solid
is a very
pickup.
good pickup. But the fact is that he's coming in off the street. He is not in football shape.
No, that's
Not
the
at
biggest concern. He did play, started 15 games last season, started 16 games the season before that, last season for the Colts, season before that for the Giants. So he has been out there and been active and on
A
NFL
durable, a
starting
very
rosters.
durable, very good defensive tackle. So he has the pedigree. But again, he's coming in off the couch. Remember the last time the Raiders brought in somebody off the couch? I think his name was Carson Palmer.
That worked out well.
Yeah.
Worked out
Anyway.
better for the Cardinals than it did for us.
Definitely so.
But it's only his 6th season, so he's a younger guy.
He's younger, yeah.
Now, I'm not as positive on the other pickup as I know. I understand he's depth and we need him, and probably he's all we could pick up, as we were driving down the street. Because
Hey, you play football? You're
oh yeah, the
big.
Donkeys didn't want you either. After the Bucks didn't want you, who had the league's worst defensive line in 2017, the worst defensive line, and you were only good enough to start 3 games on the worst defensive line in football. So I wasn't exactly thrilled.
You say that as well, but I've seen McDonald play. He has made some plays in Tampa
He has,
Bay.
and he did
He's
have
not
5. He had
right.
5 sacks last season.
Yeah.
He did have, even in only 3 games start, he did have 5 sacks. So I would say that's
He's capable.
and maybe a new zip code is sometimes all a guy needs.
Yeah. Remember, you're always different in another zip code.
But he's an older guy. He's an older guy as
I think
as
he's
well.
about, what, 32?
32. This is what is 9th season. This will be his 9th season.
He's about that old.
Yeah. So
He's depth.
we are we're a geriatric team again, working in that direction. We'll see if that turns out to be good or bad.
Right.
We'll be discussing that in a few months, but
I was gonna say the Raiders went from being one of the youngest teams in football last year to being near I think they're top 5 in older portions of the roster.
yeah,
So they've hit quite a turnaround.
we got old. I think our average is 31 or something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
close to 32 years of age.
Yeah, something like that. So,
And that's without Janikowski. That's without Janikowski. So imagine how much older they would be.
Somebody did it. You suckers.
Oh, okay.
Somebody did it.
Was it Hot Neil?
Yeah, it probably was.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was somebody else too, but I was a little late. We'll get to him in a second, but let's talk about the strange news today. Johnny Holton.
Yeah.
We bring back Johnny Holton, then I'd kind of hoped Johnny Holton was going to turn into something. He had flashes. He's a very fast guy. And
He doesn't flash people. He has flashes of brilliance. So just make sure we put that out there. We try to keep a clean show.
yeah, and you hear the reports that they're
Yeah,
sticking him on the roster as cornerback.
as a defensive back. Well, not cornerback.
Well,
as a
yeah,
defensive back.
defensive back. And
Right.
is that? I wonder if that. I hear
It's-
reports because there's a logjam at wide receiver,
Right.
and they just need to get him on roster somehow. But
It's purely because they want him for his special teams ability. If he's playing in a game as a defensive back, there's a lot of
We're in
hurting
trouble.
going on. Okay.
we're in trouble.
Now,
Although, like Shad said earlier, which I thought was the comment of the day, at least Johnny Holton would know how to turn around and look for the ball. Something our defensive backs seem to have a problem doing.
In theory. But you know what? Johnny Holton also, like I said, with all that speed, his hands were iffy. So, you know, there you go. What do you do?
Oh, he'd at least hit it.
If you're an iffy wide
He won't
receiver,
catch it, but he'd at least hit it.
You become a defensive back. That's
right.
what they say.
You're a wide receiver with crappy hands. Really fast, make good moves, can't catch shit. We'll make you a corner.
We'll see what happens. But like I said, it's in name. It's kind of like when John Kondo was on the team, he was actually a linebacker. Okay, no, he was the long snapper. Okay,
Yeah.
But he was listed in the depth charts. On some, he was listed as a linebacker because that's what he would have been used in an emergency.
Yeah, it's the fan, and
Right.
you're down to, you need him.
Yeah, if John Kondo is your linebacker, that game
Sometimes
is
you got to
lost.
play. Sometimes you got to play. Now,
And speaking of long snacker,
yeah,
because I'm sorry to make the segue for
long
you.
snackers.
Long snackers. DePaulo, who was our long snapper, really good guy,
Frosties and snacks.
gone.
And all this talk
Gone
of
for
food.
the year. Now, they were bringing in a rookie. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He was on the Ravens, did play for the Ravens this year. And there was another guy that actually played for the Raiders as well. They were looking to probably sign, it was looking like they were going to sign the Ravens guy. Teague, I think was his name.
Yes.
It looks like that contract is going to be signed. It's not official yet, but we will have a long snapper, so you don't have to worry about Lee Smith, who actually acquitted himself quite well in a pinch as the long snapper.
Yeah, I didn't think
night.
he did too bad. He stepped in and filled in amicably.
Yeah.
I thought he did fine. Now, another interesting, there's been some strange shit happening this week. I tell you what, it's been like the Twilight Zone. But, Martavius Bryant is back.
Yeah.
A week and a half or so ago, we're having a press conference saying how Keon Hatcher beat him out and earned his way on the team and, this and that. And now, we're not really, it was a bit of a disappointment. He's always got headaches and missing practice. And then a week and a half later.
Yeah, but see, I think that was gaslighting by Gruden.
Was he?
No, I think that was just, and I think that, and maybe it's far be it from me to think like what's really going on, but I think that was Gruden's way of seeing if he could sneak him out there to get him out into waivers, see if anybody claimed him, because it's like, oh, well, the Raiders traded for him, and they didn't even keep him after giving up a whatever round pick it was, third round pick, or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
So they gave up a pick, and then they cut the guy? Wow, I guess he really is going to be put on a suspension. He has not been suspended. The fact that he is signed for week 2 and beyond means that he is not on a guaranteed contract. Lo and behold, he signed for a year. And if he gets suspended, it's a game-by-game contract. They can cut him. They cut their losses, and that's just the way it is. Plus, Hatcher was making a lot of money. So you take that contract and you substitute it on a game-by-game contract. It's good gaslighting by the Raiders. Now, it will help the fact that the Raiders need somebody to take that safety out of the middle, because
Absolutely.
the middle was available at times for the slant patterns, but they didn't use it. So at least they got somebody who, in theory, will take that safety with them, open up the middle. But you know what? Just because the middle is open, you got to throw him the friggin' ball, Derek, and that means you can't be scared. You can't be scared. And I like Derek Carr, but he was playing scared the other night. That's my opinion. And again, I like Carr.
I do too. All right, you opened it, and I'm gonna let's rip the lid off that can right now.
Did I?
You
open
opened it.
I did.
All right. That's the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it because we all love Derek Carr.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy, if your daughter brought him home, you'd be like, oh, he's just that type of guy. There's nothing you can say wrong about him. You can go Google search him, and there's not a goddamn bad thing you can find about Derek Carr. He's a great guy.
He's Tim Tebow with ability.
Yeah, I like that. He's a great guy, and you want to root for him. He's the type of kid you want to see succeed. He's a local guy from the area. He went to Fresno State. You want to see him succeed, and the reality of the matter is, Captain, we are in year 5. We're starting year 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr's had one good season.
2016.
One good season. I mean, we can all talk about the stats and how, his first 3-year stats were this and his first 4-year stats were that and where it ranks among the other quarterbacks historically.
And he had a bunch of different head coaches.
He's got 0 playoff wins,
different coordinators,
and one good year.
Yeah.
So
and a $25 million a year contract.
So at some point, regardless of how we feel about Derek and the nice guy that he is, at some point his feet got to start to being held to the fire.
Yeah.
And he looked bad Monday night.
No, he would have to have improved to look bad.
Yeah, I'm being kind.
You're being very nice.
He looked horrible. He looked like shit. I was embarrassed that he was our quarterback that night. It was terrible. Losing games suck, but I really, really hate having to watch my team lose games under the light in prime time and in bad, horrible fashion, because it's just everybody's watching, and every damn body watched the game. So when you walk into work the next day, every fucking buddy watched it, and everybody's got something to say, and that's the when it's on Sunday, at least you're just buried in the highlights with everybody else, and it's kind of you can at least lose in a little bit of solitude. But when you're on prime time and everybody's watching,
and you're the very last game of the very first week, everybody is watching.
It just sucks. It sucks, and especially for guys like Captain travels all the way across the country. You got guys all coming from all over, up and down the West Coast, all over the country, flying out for a game, and to go all the way out there and then lose. Badly. So it's not even a game you're like in and excited, because by the middle of the second half you're like, well, fuck, this sucks.
Well,
it's over.
It was one of those things where it's like, even at the end of the third period, again, stats are for losers. I got it. Stats are for losers. The Raiders were still winning across the board in most of the stats, even by the end of the third quarter. But they didn't win the game. They were down in the most important stat that was going. What is the friggin' score?
The score, I mean, the interception in the end zone, that was just a bad throw. It was underthrown. If he puts it up where Cook can get it, that's a touchdown. It's not spending more time on that. Let's move in.
Don't play scared, Derek.
Let's move into week 2. We'll get to Derek Carr. Hopefully he has a bounce back game, and we'll be talking about how he bounces back next week. We won't carve him up too much yet. We got all season for that.
Yeah, but I will say this:
Prime's in the house. What's up,
okay.
Prime?
Derek Carr historically does not play well in Denver. Just saying. If he has a bounce back game in him, it's going to have to be a bounce back game and beyond.
We did the win the last time we played Denver, however.
We didn't win in
But
Denver.
No.
No,
We won
I
the
was
last
there.
time we played Denver, though. Our last meeting.
Okay, but that
on
the
November
last
26th,
game in Denver,
2000.
which
No,
I was at,
We did not win that one.
we lost.
Yes, that was the first
And
meeting
that's what I'm
of the
saying.
season.
He doesn't play well in Denver.
No, the first
That's
meeting
where
of
he
the
got
season.
hurt last year.
Well, currently, just speaking of statistics that really mean, honestly mean nothing. In the all-time series, we come into this game 63, 52, and 2. That includes the playoffs, and we are currently leading in the historical matchup against the Donkeys. So
That's a good thing.
that's positive. That's positive. Our largest margin of victory was in 1967. It was 51-0. That was a minute.
Yeah,
ago.
but that was so long ago. Don't even worry about that 51-0 game. What I liked was a couple years ago. I want to say about maybe within the last 6 years, when the Raiders went to Denver and they had like a 28-3 lead, and it wasn't even the end of the first quarter. Now that
was great. That was
a
Darren
great
McFadden
game.
went
off.
Went nuts. I actually did that game on Black Friday here not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember, sometime it wasn't that long ago.
It was
within
awesome.
the last month or two.
It was awesome.
But that was a great game. That was a great game. Man, should we do that one for Black Friday? It's always like to do the game on Black Friday that we're playing for the weekend,
yeah.
so we can already.
Well, you can
watch
try to
them get
find that
whooped up.
51-3, 51-0 game ain't gonna happen.
Oh, that would be a sweet one to get from 1967. I would love to get my hands on that. Currently, we're tied, obviously, in Super Bowl championships. In AFC West divisional championships, they have a slight lead on us. They have 3 more than us. What else we got? Super Bowl appearances, obviously, they lead us in Super Bowl appearances.
They also lead in Super Bowl losses. Let me say that again. Let's say that again in stereos.
Super
They
Bowl
also
losses.
lead in Super
5
Bowl
in
losses.
a row.
5 in a row. There you go.
So, now, coming into this weekend, their defense looked pretty good last week against Seattle, but Seattle is not a very good team.
Overall, no.
They're just not. I mean, you've got Russell Wilson and a splattering of guys from their Super Bowl days. And for the most part, they've never really rebuilt. They've just kind of tried to keep it scabbed together with like bubble gum and tape. And they're just kind of held together. And it's not really... Seattle's just not the team they used to be. So,
which I hope that they will still not be the team that they used to be, because I'm flying to friggin' London to watch the Raiders play the Sea Squawks, and I don't want to have another debacle of going all the way overseas and watching a shit game like we saw the last time I was there against the Dolphins. Gross. Hopefully the Sea Squawks are not as good, but that's in about another 5 weeks. But anyway, getting back to Denver. Denver played well against the Sea Chickens. Sea Squawks, or
Bitch
what do you call them? Bitch Pigeons. I knew I was missing one. So,
hey, you guys voted it.
Bitch Pigeons?
They did. We gave them all kinds of options. You had the Seacocks, the She-Hawks, the
Sea Chickens.
The Sea Chickens.
Yeah.
We had all of them. We had the logos to go with each one.
Bitch Pigeons.
And the Rain City Bitch Pigeons was voted
like the
almost unanimous.
Cool.
It was a landslide. That was last season, because we played them. What was it? The last game of preseason, because we always play the last game of preseason. And we'd put that up, and it was voted. It was a landslide victory too.
The golf clap to the fans out there.
Oh, it was
The Bitch
hilarious.
Pigeons.
Yeah, I figured it'd be like the She-Cocks or something, or something like that. But no, the Rain City Bitch Pigeons won. So Raider Nation voted it. But they look good on defense, but Case Keenum was still throwing picks. They didn't look stellar on offense, which, I mean, they still won.
Well, Case Keenum, though, is better than anything that they've had at quarterback the last several years.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
He is, but I don't know if he's the guy that they're looking for, though, and if he's the guy that we should be concerned about being able to going to lead them to making them a big problem for us this year.
No, I think that actually Denver has their quarterback of the future as on their roster, and that's Kelly, the nephew of Jim Kelly. He's on their roster, and he, in my mind, is who Elway has in his mind to be the quarterback of the future. But Case Keenum is holding the mantle right now, and he is a better quarterback than anything that they've had recently. So again, Keenum had an outstanding year last year for the Vikings, which is one of the reasons why the Broncos went out and got him. And he's a very good quarterback. We'll just see if he still has problems with their offensive lines, which they've had issues with it forever. Because when Menelik, Watson, and Schofield are your right tackles in their turnstiles, you have an issue at right tackle. I don't know who their right tackle is. I don't really care. Our defensive line, even as old and as young together that we're going to have to put together for this game, should have a good game. Hopefully so, because if they don't, the Denver defense is quite capable of taking it to the Oakland offense, as we've seen from last game. It might be very ugly again, and I don't want to see that.
I don't either. And one of my biggest concerns is you're going to see Von Miller on Donald Penn on that at the right tackle, and
who are you going to chip?
It's concerning. It's concerning. It really is. At least it's not the blind side.
Yeah, well, if you got Von Miller on right tackle, okay, I'll take that, because you got vet upon vet. You're going to have Chubb on Colt Miller. That's going to be interesting in itself,
That's
too.
interesting, too. The tack, I'm not concerned. Up the middle, we're solid. I mean, we've got a solid,
Well, if Osemele plays he played last week,
Yeah.
couldn't even say that. He shouldn't play as bad.
No,
But you remember, Derek Wolf is also in that middle as well. Shane Ray is also an outside rusher. They got ability on that defense. They're not as good as they were when they went to the Super Bowl, but,
they're still
stacked.
they're still good. They're still good on defense. They're a lot stronger on defense than they're on the other side of the ball. But I feel like I'm hoping that our offense can come out of a bit of a shell this week.
They're going to need to.
I mean, they're absolutely going to need to. I think we can. I think we can hold the score down with their offense. I don't think they're going to come in and put up a bunch of points on us. I felt pretty good, I think, about how the defense played in the first half of the game last week. I mean, obviously they fell apart completely in the second half, but I felt like the adjustments were obviously made much better at halftime by our opponent than they were by us, because I mean they dissected us in the second half. So what looked like a chess match that we were kind of winning in the first half, they had our game figured out by the third quarter, and you could tell, But I don't know. I just have a positive feeling that we're going to be able to rally everybody around and get a nice bounce back game this week. You've got this one, then you've got Miami next, and then come home to the Browns.
And I tell you what, do not sleep on the Browns. They're a lot better team than people think.
Hey, they ended their losing streak without winning. That's not easy to do.
That's true.
You almost got to try it, that shit. I had to miss the kick to make it happen.
And granted, Manuel was also saying, and I saw him on the comments, he said that Arden Key and Bruce Irvin are going to need to play out of their heads. I'm not quoting you directly, but they need to play very good games. That is true. So
Bruce was not on the field enough. He was on the field less than 50% of the snaps. I'd like to see him on the field a little more this game. I mean, I understand you got to rotate him in, and keep him fresh, but I'd like to see him out there. We really need that guy to make an impact this season. With the other guy gone now, somebody's got to step up and really be our guy.
That's right.
And somebody's got to do it over the next couple weeks. Somebody's got to step up and hopefully step forward and be the guy that can lead us the rest of the season, because somebody's got to do it. This is a new defense. We don't know really who's going to be that vocal leader. Who's taking charge. It's a whole new squad.
I tell you what, we have the makings of a really dynamic defense of the future with Key, with Hurst, with PJ Hall. Young bucks that have a lot of ability. Yeah, some guy is gone, but this defense, as concocted right now, with the right players playing up to their levels. And by the way, somebody go and kneecap Reggie Nelson so we can get.
Oh, you just took it. I was going there next.
There you go.
I was going there next. I was going to ask you.
He shouldn't have been on.
Why the hell is he in there in front of Joseph?
No, I like I said, because he knows the scheme. That's great. You know what? I can play better on accident than Reggie Nelson plays on purpose.
That guy was burnt toast all over the field last season.
And everybody at the game on Monday was just saying, why is this man on the team?
Again.
You got Joseph out there. Okay,
he was good a couple years ago, and I was a fan of Reggie Nelson, but not anymore.
No.
He's lost steps. He's not what he used to be. I know Gunther loves him because he's a Bengals guy. He knows the system, and he was. And I thought he was just keeping him. Honestly, I thought he was keeping him around to mentor everybody
to teach the system
through the preseason, and then they were going to cut him at the final 53-man roster cuts. And I was shocked as hell that he made the team, and I was really shocked as hell to see he was going to be the goddamn starter over Carl Joseph. I thought it was Joseph and Gilchrist all along. I thought those two were a lock to be your starting safeties. I was shocked to see.
Oh my God!
I'm
not crying thinking about it. I still got some damn crap in my eyes. But yeah, it is enough to make you tear when Reggie Nelson is your starting safety over Joseph, and Obi's nowhere to be found. So all of that has gone out the window with there.
This is on practice. Was he on IR now or practice squad or where the hell did he go? I forget.
He was cut.
I forget where the hell he went.
They
brought him back.
He's not even a figment.
They got him carrying water.
in a good world, he's carrying water.
They got him carrying water. Obi's on. He's on IR. He's on
Yeah.
injured reserve.
But you know what? The thing that I was upset about is that you kept Nelson over Shalom Luani, who I thought would have been a good fixture at safety.
I did too. I thought
And
we
then
gave
they
up
traded
on Luani a little early too.
Yeah.
I'd seen some flashes out of him. I'd rather have seen some way to retain him than Obi. I honestly hadn't seen anything out of Obi.
No.
He kind of turned out to be
A dud.
a second round bust. I mean, he's on the freaking practice squad injured reserve. Excuse me, he's on injured reserve. You know, nobody else wanted him.
No.
We let him go, and nobody else grabbed his ass. So, is what it is. So, after this game, our future schedule that you've got into the bye week, which is in week 7, you've got you got the Dolphins and the Browns back home at the Browns. Then basically, it's the away game, which is actually a home game
With the Chargers.
with the Chargers in LA, because that'll be blacked out. Did you see the stands even for the damn Chiefs this week? I mean, Jesus H. Christ. People traveled from Kansas City to fill the goddamn stadium more than you people came down the street.
Yeah.
For Jesus. What's that say for the fan base?
Well, you know, the
God.
Rams have always, when in comparison, okay, when the Rams and Raiders shared LA to themselves, there was a decent amount of Rams fans. Mostly it was a bunch of Raider fans, and I take it back. LA, the Rams owned that city for a long time, and then the Raiders pretty much came up and eclipsed them to a point where it was head to head. And then, of course, the Rams went to St. Louis, and everybody pretty much, for the most part, Raider Nation retained that right in the LA market. So the Rams got something going on in LA, and you bring the Chargers back after what, 50-something years of being away? No, they're not. It's going to be nothing. And I tell you what, they're going to learn that even when they share the stadium with Kroenke's Rams, that they're even a fourth-class citizen, because people will root for the Raiders and the friggin' Trojans ahead of the LA Chargers. Okay?
The Jokers. So
The
if we can go and we can get a W this week in Denver with the Miami, the Browns, the Chokers, and then the Seahawks, that is a fairly favorable schedule heading into the bye week. Even if you're 3-3, hell, even if you're 4-2, that's
I think you're giving it a bit much. I think that I might need to, and I'm going to say might need to revise if the Raiders come out and play as flat as they did on Monday against the Denver Broncos. I might have to revise. Now, I told people...
I'll be revising mine as well.
And I told people that I'm going to wait, because I'm seeing 3 of the first 6 games live, okay? I'm seeing 3 of the first 6 games live. I said at the bye week, I'm going to come out with a revised up or down projection of what I think the Raiders will do this year. So look for me at the bye week to do a revision, good, bad, or indifferent, of what I think the Raiders could be. I went 10-6 on here, which is actually better than what I've been saying, 7-9 to 9-7. So when we did this the first time, I came up to 10-6. How, I don't know, because I've been saying 7-9 to 9-7 all year. But we'll see. I will give you a revised at the bye week, and you will too.
Yes, I will. Because obviously you're going to know. After 6 games, you're going to know what we are. You're going to know 100% what we are. You've got a couple division games in there. You got a game overseas. You got a really good mixture in there. You're going east to west. There's a good mixture of everything in that first 6 games. And by then, you're going to know if it's time to panic or if we've got something cooking. We're going to know. We're going to know. That's for damn sure. Now, a positive story that came out today, and it's something that's obviously been a freaking long time coming. Oh snap! It says stupid ass. I got gremlins in the studio tonight. Now they came out with the Hall of Fame list for the 2019 nominees for the Hall of Fame, and there's a splattering of Raiders on the list, which is positive, and the most positive one in my eyes is the fact to finally see Tom Flores on the list. I mean, he's been on the list before, but this is a little further on the list than he typically makes it. And it's there's been a really good groundswell of people pushing to get Coach Flores in there, because I mean, God's sakes, I mean, what else does the guy need to do to fill his resume to make him Hall of Fame worthy? I mean, seriously.
I tell you, seeing Coach Flores a couple different times this weekend when I was out there over at where I was staying, there is no one more personable. That sits down. He gives his signature with ease, and will talk with all of the fans. In fact, the couple times I saw him, I just said, "Good to see you, Coach," because I know the man gets bugged to death, and he's never one to piss off any of the fans. But again, because I've gotten his signature a couple different times, I don't need to bug him anymore. Tom Flores needs to be in the Hall of Fame because presently he is the only coach who has multiple Super Bowl wins that is not in the Hall of Fame, and that needs to be rectified as well.
Not only that, I mean, what the guy did as a player, his whole the legacy of what he's been. I mean, and not only that, he was in the booth for the Raiders for so long. I mean, the guy he's been a fixture of the organization and the NFL for decades, and highly successful doing it. Multiple rings. You've got. I mean, come on. Can you seriously
No.
make a case for Tony Dungy over Tom Flores?
That is pure PR by the NFL because
I mean, seriously.
Tony feel good. Okay, I am not gonna piss off the religious right here. Okay, I'm not doing it. But Tony Dungy is in exclusively because he was the first coach that was African American to win a Super Bowl, and he is known to be a very staunch religious person. That's great. I have no problem with that. That's excellent. But you know what? You put that resume up against Tom Flores, and you put it blind. This person did this, and this person did this. Take the names out of it, so you don't know what it is. There's no way in hell that Tom Flores needs to be.
And that guy, that guy
Tony.
was not on there for very long either. He didn't wait that long and gets right in. I mean, come on, man. You already screwed the snake over and his entire family of something that they should have been able to enjoy as a family. It should have been a memory that they all cherished for forever and ever and ever. They got fucked over. They didn't want to give them their goddamn jacket. It was just, the whole thing was an absolute freaking debacle. And the whole thing, it sucked how it was handled. I mean, what you seen up on stage with his grandkids was great, but the rest of how it was handled behind the scenes and everything was shit. They didn't get treated, and he didn't get to be there, and they get to enjoy that as a family and as an iconic member of the Raider lore that he was, and that should not happen to Tom Flores as well.
It was sad going to the Stabler after party. Went up in Canton. I was there. I was fortunate enough to be there at the Stabler after party with Kendra and the rest of the daughters and the grandsons, and all of the other people were there, and not have Kenny there to relish that was just wrong. It was wrong, and it shouldn't happen again. And Tom Flores needs to get this honor before he's no longer with us.
Yeah, I agree. It would be a goddamn travesty, and it'd be very, very sad if he doesn't get to enjoy that moment. I mean, let's get something right for freaking once.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This should be a no-brainer.
This hatred of the Raiders by the NFL front office, which has been, it's not a myth. It's not a myth, okay? There's a hatred of Al Davis and his family and the Raiders themselves by the NFL. It needs to end. It needs to end.
There is others splattering a list of guys that are up as well. Steve Wisniewski's up for it, which is a guy who I also feel should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Whizzer should be in.
Leroy Glover, Russell Maryland, Richard Seymour, Eric Allen and Albert Lewis. A lot of those guys were.
Yeah, most of those guys were Raiders at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, Wiz is a Raider.
Wiz, yeah, he's
Wiz
a Raider.
Is a Raider.
He's a
Okay?
Raider, and he should be in there.
Okay.
I think he should.
Eric
be in there.
Allen and Albert Lewis had very good years in other places. Albert Lewis in Kansas City,
Yep.
Eric Allen with the Eagles. They are. I don't want to say they're not Raiders because they are Raiders. Like Eric Allen. Remember, Eric Allen did not even want to be on the Raiders when he was traded to the Raiders, or they got his rights. But Albert Lewis, I have positive feelings about. Russell Maryland and Leroy Glover and even Richard Seymour are afterthoughts. They were great with other teams.
Yeah.
And they just now Glover started as a Raider and became greater when he left with the Saints. You know, Maryland obviously was a great Cowboy and Seymour was a great Cheatriot. Yes, I said that correctly.
Yes.
So again, there's nobody more deserving on this list than Tom Flores. And then you get Wisniewski, who's my other pick that eventually and hopefully soon will make it as well.
He should make it, and Cliff Branch should be on this goddamn list too. I mean, the guy's got 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. And his stats compare favorably, if not better, than Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and a bunch of other people. So, look at that.
3.
Look at that.
3. I mean, come on. At some point, and him as well. I mean, he should be able to, should be able to stand up there with everybody else and be able to enjoy being in that club. It's an exclusive club, and these guys should be able to get in it and be able to enjoy it while they have the time to be in it. I mean,
that's right.
They paid their dues. They're among the best of the best. That's what that freaking place is for. And if you can't let the best of the best in, there's something wrong with the system. It's broken.
And by the way, Phil Villapiano needs to be in there too.
There's another one. Let's just have an all Raider class.
I'd love that. I'd love that. Ain't happening, but I'd love to see it.
We can make it happen somehow.
That's right.
I don't know how, but yeah, that'll never happen.
And no, I'm not forgetting Plunkett. I'm not forgetting Plunkett.
No.
But when you put those other names, it's definitely Flores, Villapiano, and Branch together, and then others.
Wisniewski, you got Todd Christensen should be in there.
Yeah, Todd Christensen for sure.
He should be in there. I mean, the guy revolutionized the tight end position. He was your first. He was your Jimmy Graham. He was your before they were even anything like that was thought about. Man, you got your tight end out there leading the freaking league in receptions. That just
over 100 receptions.
That just doesn't happen.
That's right.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Jesus, come on.
And he's not even going to be here because he's passed on as well.
Yeah, it's a damn travesty. Oh, you know what that means? My God, it's been an hour. That means that's the end.
Wow, that went by fast.
It did go by pretty quickly. Now, obviously, this weekend we got the second game. The Broncos hosting the Raiders. We're going to Donkeyville. So, and then tomorrow night is, of course, Black Friday. Is every Friday on Raider Reaction is Black Friday. And we will have a classic game tomorrow night. And if you haven't figured out our program, whoever we play this week, we featured a classic game on Black Friday. So you're going to get a classic Raiders-Donkeys game. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night. Watch us whip up on some Donkeys vintage classic style. And then this weekend, we will have... I don't know if we got anybody out of booster clubs or what have you, but we may. But we will have the live halftime show and the live post-game show. And then afterwards, go to Captain Jack's page.
3 hours if you're going to call in.
A 3-hour show.
A 3-hour show. But you got to call.
Call-in show. And hopefully you guys will all be celebrating. Everybody will be happy and talking about the Raider Donkey beatdown.
I want to make sure you guys go to our sponsors. We got the...
Raider Nation Rings and Flags Facebook page. Angry at Trash Podcast. Just win, ladies.
And also Silver and Black Alliance as well. Make sure you remember about those. My page, Silver Black Alliance. Angry at Trask has her podcast. I'm going to have my podcast.
I got some big news coming up about Silver and Black Alliance here within the next couple of days. I'm about to drop some news. Some shit's going on behind the scenes, and we're about to drop that here soon. So stay tuned. But until tomorrow, I'm out of here. Yarg! I am too! Peace! Love! Raider Nation!